Hi, today in part 4 of my series, Is Keto Getting a Bad Rap? We're going to take a look at the US obesity rate and what's causing it. Could it be the US government causing the obesity to go up? Could it be the National Institutes of Health, the CDC, the Mayo Clinic, or a host of other institutions looking out for our medical care and our well-being and our health? We'll also take a look at the diets that the government promotes in order for us to be less obese. Hi, I'm Steve. Let's take a look. In doing research for part 4 of my series, I came across a very interesting chart put out by the CDC. This graph shows the obesity rate and its trends over the last 60 years and projects up to 2030. At first glance, this chart appears to show that when the diets on the far left were introduced, which include the Mediterranean diet, the DASH diet, and the food triangle by the US government, that the obesity rate started to trend less upward. From 1960 through 2000, the rate seemed to increase quite a bit, and then in 2000, it seemed to flatten out. And that's what I thought when I first looked at this chart. But then if you look closer, it's interesting what the CDC did with the data. What they did was they took the first half of the chart, and these are 10-year increments. When they got to this half of the chart, this is now a 10-year span, making each of these increments 2 years. Depicting the data in this way makes it appear that the obesity rate has leveled off and isn't increasing as much. But if you pull this data from 2010 over and make it the same as the other 10-year increments, the dotted line shows what the actual data is. The trend has not changed at all. If you go to the long term, which is 20 years, the same trend is occurring. In 2030, if you pull the number over, so it's on the same scale as the rest of the data, this line trends up as it has for the last 40 years. That's interesting. Why would the CDC present data that depicts the obesity rate is leveling off? I think it's because the government has an interest in promoting these diets. They've been around for 50 years and they haven't worked. Why would the government say these haven't worked? They won't, and they still don't. In my experience, the last few visits to the doctor and to the hospital, they still promote the food triangle. Stay under 60 grams of carbs per meal. That's 180 grams of carbs per day. Additionally, they're still promoting the Mediterranean diet, the DASH diet, and any diet based on the food pyramid as the optimal diet for Americans still today. Where does the keto diet rank? In the very bottom of the pile. So the government recommends high carbs. Obviously, they're promoting the DASH diet, the Mediterranean diet, and the food pyramid. Anything that's high carb and low fat. That's what the government, the CDC, the Mayo Clinic, and numerous other health organizations, doctors, clinics, and research institutes. They actually state that the DASH diet is one of 3 healthy diets recommended from 2015 through 2020. And that includes the Mediterranean diet and a vegetarian diet. What they don't recommend? Any low-carb diet, and that's where keto falls in. And what they say is an extreme form of low-carbohydrate diet, the Ketogenic Diet, is established as a medical treatment for epilepsy, and that's true. 80 years ago, epilepsy was treated in young children by utilizing the keto diet and intermittent fasting. That is true. But to say that isn't valid for a diet today, I don't believe is true. They also say that the ketogenic diet is celebrity endorsed and a fad diet, and there's no evidence that there's any benefit, and that there are side effects. The British Dietetic Association named it one of the worst diets in 2018. It also said there's no good evidence that low carbohydrate dieting confers any particular health benefit apart from weight loss. Calorie restriction is what you need to do. And where have we heard that before? Calories in, calories out, much more exercise, reduce your calorie intake, calorie restriction, exercise more, and when it doesn't work, which it hasn't for 50 years, the doctors, the hospitals, the government, they blame you. You didn't do the diet right. You didn't work hard enough. you quit. And that's absolutely not true. It's not sustainable. Reducing your caloric intake reduces your metabolism, which means you have to continue to reduce your metabolism in order to lose weight. You can't lower your caloric intake forever. At some point, you have to eat normally. And that's what the government is promoting. Eat less and work out more. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about how the obesity rate in the US has gone up despite the best efforts of the government, the Mayo Clinic, the National Institutes of Health, the CDC, you name it. Every government agency and public health agency and corporation have tried to come up with the perfect diet. And they keep going back to the food triangle based diets from 50 years ago. They don't work. The question is, why do they continue to promote these diets if they don't work? There has to be research, right? It's been 50 years. The research is out there, but you know the government and these large corporations are not going to say they've been wrong for 50 years. It's not going to happen. So they just continue to promote what doesn't work, and they blame it on you when it doesn't. To me, that just doesn't seem right. So again, I'm not going after anyone, any organization. However, if someone wants to choose to diet or not diet, that's up to them. I'm just trying to present information as I become aware of it, and I'm learning, and I want to pass it on to you. So don't forget to click that like button and that subscribe button if you're enjoying my channel. And thanks so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time.